up, beautiful people? Welcome to today's video. Thank you very much for clicking. As you can see from the title, today's video is all about intimacy. Ooh, juicy. As you can imagine, there is a lot to cover when it comes to intimacy. After watching this video back, I have realised that I've only just tickled a few of the topics, and I am not an expert on this, but I am a non-binary person. So I've talked about some of my experiences. I'm probably going to do more videos on this subject in the future because there is so much to cover and very little representation for non-binary folks like me. And maybe you. I will leave some links in the description box below of some fantastic people and books and lovely resources for you to explore the world of sex education. Whether it's intimacy, desire, pleasure, self-exploration, you can check it all out. Okay, time to get juicy. Grab a cuppa and get uncomfortable. Roll on the clip. I have been watching Sex Education recently, the show on Netflix, and it is epic. If you haven't watched it, please watch it. It raises so many topics that I think are so important and normalises loads of things that we just don't get to see on TV. No matter what age you are, I think you should give it a watch because it's set in this like weird time and everyone kind of wears 80s clothes but they've got iPhones and stuff. So I think we can all relate to it. Epic. What has led me to creating this video and talking about intimacy and putting myself out there in that position? Well, it was because of Sex Education and this scene that I watched between a non-binary person and a straight cis man. It was a bit awkward and uncomfortable to watch, and I thought, well, why is that? And it was pretty obvious that I could relate to that non-binary person with being into it with other people. So I would like to talk to you a little bit about that. You might be a non-binary person, you might be questioning, you might be a straight cis person, whatever you are a human. So hopefully you will find this video useful. All non-binary people are different, so this is just my experience and everyone feels differently about everything. But I'd like people to be able to relate in case that you feel alone and oh, no one else feels like this, because after watching that scene I thought, oh, I felt like that before and it's really awkward, and I'd like to make it less awkward and to help anyone that I can. I think the main problem with the feeling comfortable with yourself and with someone else is the patriarchy. Obviously. Also, cis norms and gender roles. I think it's so important that we unlearn all of that stuff because it's so damaging to relationships. No matter what relationship you are in, I think it's damaging with those stereotypical roles, and the male being the dominant one and the woman who must like her breasts being touched and must find pleasure in these things, that some women don't like that. So I think it's important to kind of realise what actually gives you pleasure and try and forget the gender roles that are associated with that pleasure, which is something that I've definitely struggled with in the past, with past relationships or even like one night stands. So something that I recognised that I used to do was I used to get very drunk quite a lot of the time, and I think it was because I would put on this like persona and step into this role of being the masculine one, being the dominant one, and just not allowing anyone to touch me. And I kind of numbed myself with alcohol because I could feel like the powerful one and be like, no, don't touch me. And that's not really nice because I do like to be touched. And yeah, it's kind of a specific way that I have learnt over time. Since being with Marta, my lovely wife, she's always kind of questioned me and why do you like that? Why don't you like that? Not just being intimate in general in life. And that is uncomfortable in itself, but it's so important. And that's kind of the main message that I'd like to share with other non-binary folk out there that might be struggling being intimate with their partner. Unlearn what you know and concentrate on you and what gives you pleasure. If you and your partner are having a good time, then that's what's good. It's a bit of a journey. I'm still working through it. I have said before that I don't have gender dysphoria or body dysphoria, and I think that was actually a lie. It's something that I have been telling myself for years and years and years, but there are these subtle sort of defence mechanisms that I have in place. And yeah, I realised that I don't like my chest sometimes. I am quite happy or lucky, I don't know if you can say that I do have quite a small chest. There's specific ways that I like being touched in that area, and that is a personal thing for me, but I like different things on different days. So it's just about communication with your partner, trying things, letting them know exactly how you feel, which is important with a lot of relationships, in all aspects of relationships. Communication. I'm not sure I'm wanting to talk about that. Thank you very much for watching today's video. This is just an intro into some of the things that I would like to talk about in more depth. I hope that if you're a non-binary person, you've been able to relate to this video in some way and realise that you're not alone in your feelings. I also want to create videos if you're not a non-binary person and perhaps have a non-binary person in your life, or you could do in the future, whether that's a child, a partner, anyone. You can find me on Instagram, Facebook and Etsy. Stay tuned for more content. I'll see you next Friday at 2 PM with a new video.